so this is my first ISE, but I know that you've been here before, and you're looking and working with a lot of the broadcast Pro AV clients here. What sort of trends are you seeing this year?
So we've been obviously working in the broadcast industry for 5 years now at Caretta Research, and we've seen a huge opportunity for those kind of broadcast technology vendors, traditional kind of live production vendors specifically, to move into the Pro AV space. I think the expectations on content for corporate organizations, for education facilities, for venues, healthcare, kind of the list goes on, are so high. And consumers are really expecting that level of content that comes from professional equipment.
Right.
So with that in mind, there's just a massive opportunity for these companies to come in and kind of shake things up a little bit, provide the technology they've been providing for years to a new audience. But obviously that comes with its own challenges as well, because it is a very different audience to broadcasters, streamers, and that kind of traditional media tech world.
What are some of the challenges you think that these companies are facing when they enter this market?
There's quite a few challenges. I think one of the big challenges is who do you actually sell to? In the media tech world, you often get to have direct conversations with those broadcasters, with those streamers, whereas in the Pro AV space, a lot of it goes through system integrators or consultants. So kind of understanding who you're actually pitching to is really important.
Yes.
And secondly, the language you use. You can't always, unless you're going through a consultant, go super, super technical. So it's important to talk to the solutions that you can offer, kind of solution-centric marketing around how this is going to make their town halls look great, how this is going to get the information out, how this is going to make them look professional and their marketing content really pop, as opposed to, you know, this is SimCity 500, this is, and going through all the technical specs of what it has to offer, because that's less important than the end results for a lot of these buyers.
Right, and you mentioned something earlier when we were talking about thinking about different people that might have to operate the solution as well.
So in certain cases in these organizations, you will have like an ex-broadcast AV engineer operating kind of a corporate comms office and using all the technology, and that's fantastic, and they know exactly how to use the super technical stuff. But you also might have a CEO or kind of a CEO's assistant needing to go in, turn on that live stream so that everything can start going through to the town hall. And so it's really important that the technology is not only explained in an accessible way, but actually accessible in terms of how you can use it. So yeah, it's kind of taking the technology and the capabilities that already exist and just refining them in the way that they're presented to a completely different audience that is hungry for this kind of technology as well.
Yeah, no, that's a really interesting differentiator and something I hadn't thought about, so it's really great. So obviously this is a very different show than some of the traditional broadcast shows like NAB and IBC. What are some of your top tips as a visitor to coming to this show?
I'm a big believer with any show in organization, especially when you're coming into a new space. Do your homework beforehand. Like, it's great to know who the players are in this space, whether you're a vendor coming and you're trying to understand, you know, who you should be selling to. You know, get a list of the top system integrators, understand who you need to be pitching to, because you might not just have kind of the traditional broadcasters or traditional buyers walking up to your booth. And equally, if you're a technology buyer, you know, check and see whose language and whose kind of offerings are resonating with what you're looking for, so that you don't get kind of drawn into, there's so much on offer here. You can get kind of very lost in like an LED screen hall, which is fantastic, and like, do go. But you don't want to get lost in there when you have kind of a specific agenda as well. So yeah, for all trade shows, I'm a big believer in prep beforehand, and leave yourself some time to explore, of course.
Yes, absolutely. And finally, you know, tell us a little bit more about Caretta. I mean, you know, you now operate across several different industries. What are sort of your core offerings?
Absolutely. So at Caretta Research, we are 5 years old. We started by tracking the media tech industry. We track all vendors, all buyers, market sizing, as well as relationships across the industry ecosystem. As we were doing that work, it became pretty evident that there was a lot of adjacencies that we couldn't ignore. So we moved into tracking the sports industry, from sports rights to venues, and then into ad tech, and now into Pro AV. So it did really stem from, and we still want to stick to the roots that we've come from and that we know where we have the expertise, because the goal is really to provide market intelligence based in kind of industry expertise as opposed to a generalist platform. So the goal is to continue doing that, and supporting kind of vendors with their expansion into these new industries.
Great. Well, I've obviously known many of your analysts for many, many years different analyst houses they've worked in. So I have huge respect for you guys, but it's so great to be joining you here in the Pro AV space.
Yes, thank you so much, and thank you for the time today, guys. It was lovely to catch up.
Great.